Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special adventure/review episode of 2 Weeks, One Shot, a tabletop RPG variety podcast. My name is Brian, aka Helix Missionary, and I will be running tonight's campaign. On today's episode, we'll be playing an upcoming new system called Upriver, Downriver, which is in the final days of its Kickstarter campaign, ending on November 24th. The game's developers, Ella Watts and Max Breyer, reached out to us and asked if we'd be interested in playing the game ahead of release, and we said that sounded fantastic, so they very generously sent us a pre-release copy of the Quick Start rules. But before we jump into the game itself, I do need to welcome the players who will go on this magnificent adventure. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, guys.
Hey, it's me, Alex. You know me. I'm your podcast daddy. That's it.
That's the intro you want to go with?
I'm podcast father.
That's the one.
But I do prefer podcast daddy.
I'm going to call you Podcast Papa from now on.
Oh, I love that.
Podcast Papa.
Podcast Papa.
Podcast.
Podcast.
Hey there, I am Harold, and I am like a fart that sneaks out of you quickly on the first date with a person that you're really into but feel totally outclassed by.
So specific.
That was very specific.
No, I think we've all been there.
Just metaphorically.
Yeah.
Just emotional farts.
The proverbial first date fart. You know the one.
You know. Alex, you know.
Yeah.
Alex, you know. Alex, you know.
I farted when we first met, Harold, and you shot me down.
That was 15 years ago.
So here's some quick preliminary information about Upriver, Downriver. Upriver, Downriver is a tarot-inspired role-playing game set in a pastoral fantasy setting and revolving around themes of war, peace, and our relationship with the natural world. And it draws on inspiration from many sources dealing with those same ideas. Players explore this world as a crew of sailors, embarking on a magical journey either up the river to its mythical source, or down the river to the unexplored sea. The game is built with short campaigns of 4 to 12 sessions and definite endpoints in mind, and allows players and the Game Master to explore characters and locations based on the tarot's major arcana. If this catches your attention half as much as it caught ours, you'll want to check out the game's Kickstarter. We're including the link in the episode description so you can check out more info about the game, see the Quick Start rules for yourself, and offer support. The campaign has met its first goal of funding, so you're guaranteed to see it finished, but there are lots of fantastic stretch goals that are still on the way. Once again, you can search Kickstarter for Upriver, Downriver, or find the link that will be included in our episode description, so make sure to check it out. With that in mind, today's episode will be a bit different from what we usually do. We're gonna have a short homebrew adventure using the rules, thanks again to the developers for offering them to us. And after hopefully showing off the system, we'll move right into a review segment where we'll give some of our thoughts. That's right, you're getting some actual play and review content all wrapped up in one episode. You're welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Don't get used to it.
Yeah, but now, our sails are unfurled, our anchor raised, the wind is fine, and it's time to get ready, steady, roll. Tonight's adventure is titled Green Grass, Blue Skies. All your life, you've lived on the Great River. It is the source from which all life and magic flows. Storms climb and fall down the river banks, and precious metals are buried in the silt. Fish swim in abundance near the roaring tide, and rice grows thick and luscious by the banks of the Gloss Road. The river is all you've ever known, one mighty silver serpent, which winds down from the mountains and travels inexorably toward the sea. No one has ever found the source of the river, from which it is said that all magic springs. No one has ever come back after crossing the horizon of the sea. But together, your crew has sworn an extraordinary oath to set sail and reach the river's source. It is an oath of adventure, one that leads on a story of magic and secrets, pirates and treasure, monsters and trials. The journey will not be an easy one, but very few journeys worth taking ever are. You swore your binding oath in Meadowbrook, the sleepy community at the center of the Great River, from which most adventurous sailors begin their journey. There you set your roles, took up your paths, and acquired the first piece of the map of the Crystal Nets, which you know you will need to complete to have any hope of reaching your destination. Now your travels have brought you to the Glass Road, one of the river's widest and longest stretches, named for an old dwarven word, a color as green as the grass and as blue as the skies. As your schooner sails these glassy waters, their color ever shifting before your eyes, just who are the bold adventurers that have sworn an oath to find the river's source?
I guess it's me. I am Dr. Abraham Melchior. I've lived on the river my whole life, but never dared to get on it. But I'm on it now, bitches. Ready to doctor the fuck out of some crewmates. That's right. Dr. Air quotes, Abraham Melchior at your service.
Are the air quotes around doctor, or are they around Abraham Melchior?
They're around doctor, because doctor's kind of a blanket term when you really think about it. I mean, there's probably not established medical practice along the river, but hey!
There definitely are. There definitely are in some places.
Look, all right? A lot of the tools that you would use to repair the ship are the same tools I'd use to repair the crew. So, it all works. Dr. Abraham Melchior, that's me. Totally sane, balanced Dr. Abraham Melchior. That's me, totally sane. Dr. Abraham Melchior.
Well, hey there. Yep, it's me. It's good old Gunner Grotanks.
I know that guy.
Yep, I'm Gunner Grotanks. Gunner Grotanks. I happen to be a professional gunner. Yeah, it's true. It's true. My name is Gunner Grotanks, and I am a gunner. I do have a brother. His name is Fishcakes, and he's in jail. Anyway, but it's a tough life out here on the river. I grew up wanting to explore the world and see up the river and also down it if possible. And it's been something I've been dreaming of my whole life. Needless to say, I was hoping not to get involved in violence and combat, but it's tough in this society to find a way in this world without having to take on a job that you're not really into. I never saw myself as somebody who would take the life of another man, but, it's just one of those things that comes to you sometimes when you're living the life on the river. In fact, I see myself mostly as a lover, you see. I follow the path of the lover. And if I could, I'd spend my days on this river looking for love, and releasing love, and accepting love. What was I talking about again?
I don't know, but I love this molasses that started to develop in your character.
No, it's wonderful. Also, you definitely, much as there definitely are medical practices along the river, you definitely can just spend your days on the river doing what you were talking about. That's not like, you said that as though that's not something that you can do, but you can.
No, it's true. I took a job and I have to see it through. And if I end up dying at the hands of another pirate ship or some man shooting at me from a distance because of something I agreed to do on a sunny day, then I suppose that's what's in store for me out here on this winding, beautiful river.
Now, Grotanks, I love all of this, by the way. Amazing. Perfect backstory. Grotanks, I really just want to hear more about Fishcakes. What befell Fishcakes that got him in jail? In river jail?
Oh, just the one thing that'll get you really a long stay in River Jail.
Peeing in the river. Yeah, it's pretty illegal.
Yes. Peeing in the river, and of course not wearing bottoms. Yes. Long shirts, no bottoms.
Can't live on the river if you don't wear bottoms.
It's a horrible crime. He thought he was being clever, but we all saw.
Was he not wearing bottoms when he peed in the river?
Yes. He tried to be freer than most of us. Yes, no,
he's getting the death penalty.
The path of freedom is fraught, you see. The things we do to try to find a few moments of peace and liberty amongst ourselves and between our legs can charge a man for life, you see. I hear Fish Cakes is doing very terribly in jail. Yes.
We're inventing an awful lot of lore about this game.
River jail's rough.
So the two of you, and you're not the only ones on your ship. You have some other crew as well, but they're incidental. They don't matter for this game, for this adventure outing that we're doing. So the lot of you have sailed from Meadowbrook, and you've begun the long journey up the river.
Wait. We have two other guys on the ship. What are their names?
The other guys in the ship are named, one of them is named,
It's Fish Cakes! He made it out of jail! Fish Cakes! Oh! Thank God, Fish Cakes! I've heard such terrible things about River
Fish Cakes is definitely still in jail.
That can't be you, Fish Cakes. You got 25 more years after you killed that man. Yard Square.
Your crewmates are named, Jabraham Jelkior.
Oh, God.
And, Bow Tanks.
I hate them. I hate both of them.
I hate them so much. I hope they die.
And yeah, no, you hate both of them, but you all swore the oath together. You're in it now. You're all working together.
You really should have saved Jabraham for our Christmas/Hanukkah special we'll be doing in a few weeks here, Alex.
Well, we can bring him back. We've had callbacks before.
Okay. Now you're obligated.
Yeah, fan favorite Jabraham Jelkior.
They don't matter. They're incidental. You guys are the ones that we're really focused on. But it is worth pointing out that Grotanks was correct that now that you have sworn this oath and you have taken on this self-proclaimed duty to find the source of the river, you can no longer spend your days idly sailing up and down the river. In fact, you guys cannot sail back down the river at all. Now that you have set out on this oath, the oath that you swear is magically binding, which has some benefits for the lot of you, but also has some requirements to uphold it. And one of those requirements is that you cannot ever go back. You cannot retrace your steps and travel back down the river. And one of the other requirements is that you must keep moving forward at a regular pace. You cannot ever spend more than 3 days in the same location on the river.
Yep.
So you know that everything you need to do needs to happen at, you need to constantly be working towards your goal.
So it's like river-based magical speed, but with elves at like a 3-day pace?
Like the movie Speed.
Oh, not the drug speed. Okay.
Yeah, like the movie Speed.
Yeah, no, not the drug Speed.
Sorry.
The movie.
Yeah, no, Elf Keanu Reeves and Halfling, why am I blanking on the lady's name?
Sandra Bullock. She's a fucking treasure, Helix. God damn it.
I was wanting to say Sandra O'Connor, and I knew that wasn't right.
Whoa.
Yeah, no. Elf Keanu Reeves and Halfling Sandra Bullock already defeated dwarf Dennis Hopper and continued on.
Hey, kudos for remembering Dennis Hopper is the villain.
I cannot believe you forgot Sandy B. That is so insulting.
The original King Koopa.
There we go. So the point is that you need to accomplish your goals in a timely fashion. Your duty is not to hang around. You're not here to, just be the party boat on the river. You have to keep finding things. And that is what has brought you.
But we can party on the river, right?
Well, you can party as long as you're still moving forward while doing it.
All right, because Dr. Abraham Melchior loves to fucking party.
And Grotanks the Gutter has a party problem, so we won't have to deal with that.
Well, you might have plenty of chances to have Abraham have a good time and Grotanks to struggle with his inner demons, because you guys, having left Meadowbrook and traveled a little ways up the river, are approaching one of the longest and widest stretches of the river, and that is the stretch known as the Gloss Road. You guys have already sailed a decent distance up the Gloss Road, and it's still just going and going and going. You are approaching the widest point where it is nearly 6 miles across. And as you approach that point, you can see up ahead the floating city of Zagazny, which is a town that fully floats on the water with enough room for ships to sail around it on either side. That is how wide the Gloss is at this point. And the city is itself pretty sizable, but it still allows for that travel constantly. It is a town of traders and tourists. It is bordered and speckled throughout with wood-penned rice fields. And as you approach, you can see the wooden sort of scaffolding structures rising to these improbable heights above the water. They look a little rickety. There are certainly points where you feel like maybe you don't necessarily want to be up that high on these structures that look like they might collapse under their own weight at any given moment. But this is where you are approaching, and you know that you have a very important goal here at the town of Zagazny, and that is that you need to find the next section of the map of the crystal nets. Because without completing that map, or at least gathering as many pieces as you possibly can, you have very little hope of reaching your destination.
Well, hell, Abraham, don't those structures up ahead look really high?
Wait, did you say Abraham or Jabraham?
No, I said Abraham.
Okay,
I don't talk to Jabraham.
Yeah, Jabraham, sit back down. All right, no one's talking to you.
Good, I didn't want to get up anyway, you sons of bitches.
You son of a bitch. You're a son of a bitch.
He's a super wet blanket, bro. Everything he says is like a complaint. Even though he's like saying nice things, it's still actually a complaint. It's so annoying.
Right, and then when he gives you compliments, it sounds like he's kind of being snarky about it, and I just, ugh.
I came out the other day, and he was like, "Oh man, the weather's actually kind of nice today," which means he's been actually complaining about the weather for like the entire trip, right? Which, I mean, it's like it's okay to like comment that like, okay, today is kind of good, but if you seem kind of pissed about it, it doesn't really feel like a good thing to say. I mean, why say anything at all?
Well, hey there, maybe instead of taking up all our airtime with you guys complaining about my made-up predilection for being an asshole, and instead you go look for the Crystal Nets map, because we need that, and also, we have a limited amount of time in which to do it. Both narratively and outside of the narrative.
What do you even do out here, Jabraham? You don't even have a job.
Yeah, Jabraham, you should just jump off the ship.
I'm your cook, but I'm not very good at it, which is why I don't officially have the role.
I didn't know we had a cook. I just thought he was just a layabout.
How about you guys just get off the ship and go do something else?
Well, fine. And in fact, we'll leave our 2 other compatriots behind.
Yeah, no, we didn't want to come.
Well, we didn't want you to come.
And I know you're stealing food and you're sleeping with bro tanks?
Bow tanks.
Bow tanks. We hear you. It's as tight as shit, man. Come on.
I mean, we all sleep in the same bed. It's really awkward.
It's incredibly awkward.
What 2 grown individuals do in the privacy of the shared communal quarters of this ship. What they do in the privacy of our half of the shared bed that we all sleep on is none of your business. That's none of your concern.
Who's the captain? It better not be bow tanks. God.
I mean, no one else is, so clearly it is bow tanks.
Damn it. Of all the ships I could have traveled down the river, it was this one with bow tanks and Jabraham.
You're traveling up the river.
Alex, this is our fault. He gave us a clear, a wonderful buffet of options to choose, and we were both support roles.
Yeah, neither of you chose to be the captain, which, and a fine choice. As far as I can tell from reading the book, no one has to be the captain of the ship. I don't think it says anywhere you have to have a captain. So
let's go into town.
Get off the ship. Go find out what you need to find out. And as your conversation comes to a close,
we should buy a bigger bed.
Maybe just a second bed. Maybe that's the option.
I'll take a hammock, actually. I mean, we could sleep outside on the poop deck. Or is that unkosher? It's culture. I'm not really sure. Can I sleep outside on the poop deck on our riverboat?
Probably.
Also, is it a riverboat or is it like a sailboat? Because in my brain, I'm picturing like a beautiful colonial boat, or is it more like a...
So it's considered a schooner, which would be like a 2-masted ship.
A 2-masted ship.
So it's not like a tiny little thing. It's not like you're in some like pontoon or pole boat that you're just like sort of kicking up the river. This is a decent, it's a decent ship that works pretty well. And when the wind is with you, it's good enough to sail right up against the river's flow.
Could it be like a flat bottom boat with like a glass floor so we can look at the fish as we go by?
No, it's a schooner. We just established.
Fine.
Brian, what's the name of our schooner? Can it be Spooner the Schooner?
Your schooner is the Good Ship Tuner.
Tuner the Schooner.
Like a tuner fish.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Can we be done with naming things and people that we will not interact with for the rest of this one shot?
All right. I keep saying let's go into town.
I'm trying to get us to town. But
Stop talking to Harold.
J. Abraham and Botanks.
Just ignore Harold.
I just wanted to know the details about our ship, about our river-based ship life.
as your important conversation winds to a close, your schooner is pulling right up to one of the many sort of like just floating like docks out from the town, because Zagazny sort of floats on the water in the middle of the glass road here. You don't have to worry about like gently pulling your boat into the dock of the into the bay and rowing off in rowboats, or you can pull like right up and basically lash your ship to this dockside that's sticking out. But as you are doing that, a couple of somewhat unscrupulous looking fellows are sort of approaching you as you're tying things up and getting your ship squared away to not drift off down the river without you. And as you're finishing up, they do approach the both of you, and one of them sort of gives a little head nod and says, "Hey, you gonna pay the docking fee, right?"
Oh, well, you see there, sir. Oh, you have to talk to the captain about that. So that's his purview. We're just a support roles.
I'm just a simple country doctor with no money. I can heal what ails you.
Well, what ails me right now is that I don't have enough silvers in me purse, so I'm gonna have to ask you to hand over the docking fee. Whoever's getting off the boat is the one that's gonna pay the fee. I mean, if your captain is just staying on the boat, unless you can bring the captain on out here to explain and pay for you,
Oh, God, no.
I think you two are gonna have to be the ones that are gonna be explaining. You're gonna either pay the fee.
No, you don't want him off of that boat. He's awful. How much is the docking fee?
Docking fee. I mean, this time of year with the weather being what it is,
It's a nice day.
and the trade. I mean, you know how the economy's been in this part of the river lately, I'm sure.
It's been wonderful. Look at this city. My God.
Your docking fee is gonna be, what do you think, Charlie? I think about 100. 100? That sound good to you? 100 silver.
Whoa, holy shit, where did this other guy come from?
It's the second guy. I said 2 guys are coming up. 2 unscrupulous looking gentlemen.
I'm a doctor.
One unscrupulous man is enough, but 2?
I think about 100 silvers will cover your budget.
That sounds like bullshit.
I mean, I think what's bullshit is folks like you coming and just sailing wherever you please up into our finally established settlement here and taking up valuable dock space that, we could be fishing off of this.
Well, that's what it's for, because you're a big city and you made a dock, and where else are we supposed to be going?
We could be parking our own boat here and you're taking up the space instead. These are tourist docks now. This used to be, we used to be able to have our own little dinghy or craft or whatever we wanted out here. And now instead you folks are coming in and just strapping your ships wherever you please.
Listen, Mr. Unscruples, I understand the fears and
No. Mr. Unscruples is my father, mate. You can call me Ted. Ted Unscruples, that's my name. This here is Charlie.
I don't know, I feel provoked. I feel like I should attack this man. Anyway, but whatever.
I don't know that I would qualify this as provocation to fight.
Ted, Charlie. All right, look, sit. Come here. Come. I'm gonna sit now. Come sit on old Dr. Abraham's lap.
I'm not gonna sit on your lap.
Come on,
I'm gonna
come
sit
here.
on these conveniently placed crates and barrels that we always have lying around these docks for precisely that reason.
All right, well, look. All right. We are on a magical quest.
A magical quest, you say?
Yeah, dog. Magical quest.
Charlie, they're on a magical quest. Did you know that?
Charlie heard me. All right, I'm speaking clearly. It's clearer than I've ever spoken in my life. Now, this magical quest, we're going to the source, bud. All the way to it, all the way in it.
Come off it. You're not going to the source.
We're going to the source.
No one goes to the source. No one knows where the source is.
Source. You're
How are you going to go to the source if you don't even know where it is?
It's at the source. It's upriver. There's only one river, dick.
Yeah, but There's tributaries to the river, you dumbass.
Okay, well, all right. Think you're so smart.
Listen, it's a magical river. You think there's not more than one way to go up the river? It's magic, mate. And no one knows where the source. No one's been to the source. No one's found the source. It's a myth. I mean, obviously not like topographically. There has to be a source to the river. Starts somewhere. But if you really think about it, even there, that might not be the true source because I mean that's got to come from somewhere else, right? Even if it's just like the rain.
You know, I have to kind of agree with Mr. Unscrupulous. I do adhere to a belief system of a flat river idea.
I remember in my 3rd grade science classes we learned about the water cycle, and that implies that the river's source is really it is the sea, which is also where it ends because the water from the sea gets picked up and rains back down. And that's how we have the river.
Our reality is a flat circle floating in the center of the universe, and the river just attaches to itself. It's what I've been telling people.
It's a somewhat poetic way to think about it, but I think that's more or less. Yeah.
Well, that's fucking beautiful, y'all.
I like you, Mr. Unscrupulous. Give this man some money.
No, God.
Yeah, 100 silvers and you can be on your way.
Damn it.
Come on, Doctor, pay the man.
Ted, Chucky.
No, he doesn't go by Chucky. He goes by Charlie.
Ted, Charlie.
It's already a nickname.
Oh, my God. Look. We're going to go back to the source. It's going to be good for everybody, especially for you, Ted.
In what way?
Because when I get there, Ted, I'm going to write your name on the source.
You're going to write my name? I'm
going to write your name on the source. Everyone else tries to get to the source after we get there.
Why would you? No, I don't want you to do that. You're vandalizing the source and you're putting my name on it, so anyone else who gets there is going to think, wow, Ted,
no, they're going to get there and they're going to think.
What a fucking idiot to go to the source and scrawl his name on it. That's all he went there for?
They're going to get to the source and they're going to be like, wow, look at this cool guy. Ted wrote his name right on it. What a badass. I'd like to roll tongues.
Okay. All right, yeah. So the way that we roll in this game, I was gonna say you're gonna have to either pay the man or roll something at some point here.
I don't want to pay the man.
So there are 3 core like stats that you have to roll with in Upriver, Downriver, and they are swords, spirits, and tongues. Swords is what you would use for things like tests of physical prowess, of all sorts. Spirits is what you use for things like knowledge and magic. A lot of the time. And then tongues is what you would use for things like wisdom, instinct, or charisma. So when you're trying to, for example, talk to someone and convince them to do what you want them to do, you would probably use tongues. Now, the other aspect of the game is abilities, which are sort of like specific things that you would do with those core attributes, those core stats of swords, spirits, and tongues. And basically the way it works is if you have a given ability, your characters don't have a lot of abilities. The ones that they have are the things that they're really good at, and everything else is stuff that they're like okay at and can potentially do. But it's not like their wheelhouse, right? Alex, you're rolling tongues, but I am gonna say that I don't think you have any relevant abilities.
I could create poison. I could do that to him.
Are you poisoning him?
No.
Okay. So what that means then...
I happen to have a relevant ability. I have the ability of charm.
No, you wanted to pay the man.
You do, but you're not the one talking to him. So we're gonna make Alex roll.
Well, I can charm Alex to pay him. How about that?
No, I don't want this.
All right.
And so when you make a roll and you don't have a relevant ability, what you do is roll at disadvantage. But you do still get to add your full modifier from the stat to the roll. And the roll is, for basic stuff, is always going to be a d12, and then you're trying to hit a target number that I determine, and that target number is somewhere from 8 to 16, depending on how difficult I want the check to be.
Do I get to add my tongue's ability score?
Yeah, you do add your tongue's number to this roll, but you're rolling at disadvantage.
Yeah.
So you're rolling twice, taking whichever number you get and adding tongues to it.
All right, here we go. Well, lowest value is a 3, so that's a 5.
Okay, that is not going to cut it. That does not even pass the average roll. Failure in Upriver, Downriver doesn't necessarily immediately mean like terrible consequences. It basically means that you're going to need to find some other way to progress or some other option that you can take. So in this case, you failed on your attempt to persuade Ted that you didn't need to that you don't need to pay him by inscribing his name on the source for future generations. And he mulls it over for a little bit and he says, that doesn't sound bad. I do have to say that sounds like it might be pretty interesting, but, and hear me out here, I think that maybe something that would help me even more than the, adoration of future explorers who may or may not ever get to this mythical source that you may or may not get to. I think what would help me a lot more than that is 100 river silvers right in my pocket. That would be very helpful for me.
I take out the river silver and I give him 100 river silvers.
That digs pretty significantly into your funds, but you are able to cover it.
Yeah. Let's get out of this interaction.
Hey, don't worry, Doctor. If you want anything while you're out shopping, just tell me. I got you covered. Don't worry.
When you hand over the river silver, both of you notice a sort of look back and forth between Ted and Charlie that's clearly like, what? Did we just get away with that? Did we? All right, cool. And then Ted sort of nods. All right, well, thank you for paying the docking fee, gentlemen. If you're interested in a full tour of the city, then Charlie and I here can happily provide that for you as well for another nominal fee. But not a lot of people take us up on the tour. A lot of them have something in mind and are going about their business anyway. So I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to press that one on you.
You already go on the tour, Doctor?
Charlie and Ted, I'm going to kindly say, fuck off, and let's go.
You're not the first one who said that to us when we offered the tour.
Goodbye.
Charlie, Ted, it was wonderful to meet you. Have a lovely day. Please find me on Instagram.
You too there, Mr. Yeah. What's your name, sir?
It's @.
No. I'm not asking for whatever Instagram is. I'm asking for your actual name.
Oh, my name is Gunner Grotank's the Gunner. I'm a gunner. My name is Gunner.
That's pretty fortuitous that your parents named you after the profession that you ended up choosing in life.
It's true, but it's not really what I want to do because I really want to be a lover, not a gunner. But it's the thing that I'm kind of stuck with doing since I took this oath.
Well, I've heard that roughly 1 in 3 gunners are lovers, or at least follow the path of the lovers. It being one of the 3 paths that they can take. So
it's true. We're very sensitive people. It's such a toll, really. I mean, it's a job you didn't think it's going to be difficult. I mean, you point, you aim, you click, but at the same time, man, I mean, what are we doing? We're hurting people, man. It's tough, man. It's tough out
It is. I understand. That's a difficult way to live your life.
Are you Matthew McConaughey now?
Hey, man, I've always been Matthew McConaughey.
Harold and I are both sort of floating all over with these accents, so we're not going to worry about it.
I'm a southeastern Louisiana, Texas kind of accent. I'm somewhere east of Houston, north of any other town you could think of.
We're gonna leave the accent talk and all that, and pleasure meeting you gentlemen. I hope that you are able to conduct any business that you might have in Zagazny to the fullest of your extents. And I will remind you that the docking fee is good for roughly 2 days worth of time. So we will be back in about 2 days' time if you haven't shipped out by then.
Yep. Thanks. Fuck you.
Bye, Ted.
Well, that's rather uncalled for, I think, but you already said it once. That's all right. Let's get a move on. Charlie, come on, let's go. So you guys are in Zagazny. The 2 guys who are locals who might have been able to point you in any direction are walking away because you told them to fuck off.
I like them.
And you guys just know that you need to go get a map. So what do you want to do? What's your plan? Stands.
Do we see, looking around Zagazny, is there any sign of like a cartographer's shop? I mean, I'd imagine there's something pretty prominent, given that this is a town that floats on a river, and probably keeping an accurate map of where the hell they are is pretty important.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely going to be at least 1 or 2 of those. It might take you guys a little while to find one, and it's probably mid to late morning by the time you guys are able to find a shop that is exactly what you're looking for, a cartographer's. And you enter in, and there are maps strewn up all over the walls. It's a shop that's sort of in more towards the center of town. And there's, maps all up over the walls. There's maps of the river and different sections of the river. There's star charts. There are a couple of maps of distant foreign lands that you guys are pretty sure don't exist and are probably just made up or are coming out of fiction books or something. But it's pretty neat. And the whole place is being run by a rather ancient-looking dwarf who does after a little while of you come in, you're looking around and everything. They were speaking with another patron of the store, and once that transaction is completed, they sort of start hobbling over your way. They have a crutch that they're using to help support their weight, and they come on over to the 2 of you. Yes? What is it that you're looking for?
Whoa, take a seat there. Slow down, big boy. All right.
What? No, listen.
Whoa.
I don't need that kind of patronage from you.
Alex has like this ability to fluster Brian like a second tonight for some reason.
Every interaction he has is just the opposite of what I would expect him to say for any NPC.
To be fair, you all have the same effect on me, so it balances out.
No, I mean, that's what this show is us constantly disrupting each other.
Just being so surprised by each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about you calling me that, but what can I do for you youngsters?
Sorry, I'm remarking on your knees. It seems like you've got a little bit of pain. Look, we're not going to take up too much of your time. We're looking for... What are we looking for, Gutter Grotex?
Oh, see, oh man, I should have gone to captain school because I think I would have had a better memory if I did that, man. I've been standing next to those guns this whole time, man. I just got this fucking ring into my ear, man. I hardly listen to a thing these days. I think we're looking for a piece of a map to.
Well, a
to
map
find.
is yes. I have maps.
Don't interrupt me, old man. Excuse me. Where was I? Oh yes, right. We're looking for a piece, 6 pieces, I believe, of the map that's going to help us on our magical journeys down, up the river to the source. And I believe it was 6 pieces.
Crystal something? Crystal Kingdom?
The crystal
Skulls?
Crystal Kingdom. I believe it was
the crystal nets. That's the one.
Look at you.
I believe so. It should be a net. It should be a net. That's right. I heard it was a net.
But I'm a cart. I run a store that deals in maps. Of course, I'm going to know about one of the most famous. It's a famous map, but I can't help you because, frankly, I don't deal in curiosities or no good, just idle fantasies. That's not what I do here. I'm a man of science. The science of geography.
This man seems very flustered, don't you think, Doctor? He seems very annoyed with us today, isn't he? This is not how you would treat a customer, right?
Oh, you called me doctor. That touches me. No one's ever done that.
Absolutely, Doctor. I can really figure out your first name.
Man of science. I'm a man of medicine. It's like...
Medicine isn't a science, it's hokum.
It's like people science with a knife.
That's what makes it hokum.
I don't know what hokum is, but I like it. Look... I understand you're here with all your maps piled high, you know. They're falling over, you're constantly selling them, but maybe you want a little bit of excitement in your life, huh? Well, that's what we're doing. We're here for excitement. We're here for a map to the crystal nets. I know science, bibbledy-bubbledy-boobledy, right? But what's science got to do with a little bit of fun? A little bit of rock and roll, huh?
Doctor, I love your energy. Excuse me, I got a little bit too Jewish here for a second. Excuse me. Doctor, I love your energy. I do. I really do. I totally understand exactly where you're going with this.
Are you going to try to charm? Because that's what you're good at?
That is what I'm going to try to do. I'm just trying to warm up my speaking voice a little bit.
Bibbledy-bobbledy charmedy.
If you're going to charm me, then charm me. I know I gave the comment on patronage earlier, but my knees do bother me, so if you could hurry this up.
Mr. Old Man, if you could just please help us.
How do you know my name?
You got the look from the family, the Old Man family. You got the crooked nose and the squinty eye that's telling of the family line of Old Man.
And the sign outside says Old Man Cartography Store.
I went to school with an old man. I went to gunnery school with Jacob Oldman.
You know the Old Man clan?
Of course I do. I grew up 4 houses down from a whole family of old men.
In the valleys, yes. They were one of the few dwarven clans who did move with the halflings, so that makes sense.
This is my charm roll, by the way. I nearly was engaged to a woman that was an old man. It's true. She was a beautiful old man. One of the best old men I've ever seen. Which one?
I may know of her.
Cynthia,
old man. So you would have married.
And you know what? Incidentally, she had bad knees too.
That's true. Many of the old men clan do. It's a genetic curse, but
What do you do? Who do you do about something like that? Who do? Woo! I've already done my charm. Now, let me go ahead and roll this thing.
I'm just a small town country lawyer.
Let me make some more noises.
yeah, go ahead and roll me a charm.
Roll anything.
So because you do have the charm ability,
I do.
you get to roll. You add your full tongues to the roll, and you don't have to roll twice and take the worst. You just roll once.
So, and I roll this with a die 12.
Yes.
That's right. Okay, here I
Yes,
go
you're
with...
going to use a d12. You're going to roll. You're going to add your tongues.
Using my tongue to charm this old man. Here we go.
You sure are.
Oh, fuck. There it goes. There it's far too far. It's hard to do it. Analog style. All right, hey. It's a 12. Oh, Lord, it's 12.
A 12 on the die?
It's a 12 on the die. Look, I can even prove it to you. Look right there. I picked it up to show it to you.
Yeah, that proves it. He picked it up and showed it to the camera. That proves it.
I believe you. Yeah. No, the old man, the dwarven old man is very impressed. And they bob their head a couple more times. Yeah. Well, I mean, if anyone who was able to charm and to put up with Cynthia, I mean, that's.
Oh boy, was that hard.
I mean, I don't ever tell her that side of the family I said this, but you're maybe a fortunate fellow that it didn't end up working out for things that way. But whatever the case may be, we don't need to get into all that. I can tell you as much as.
Take your time, old man. I've charmed you. Don't worry.
The map of the crystal nets, in my opinion, is nothing more than a whole lot of hearsay and superstition. The crystal nets exist, yes, and you could even maybe go past them. Most of the dwarves are said to have gone that way after the wars and the mining and the terrible things that happened. But I don't know that I believe it. I don't put stock in those stories myself. But if you really want to know about the map of the crystal nets, I don't carry any here. But the one place you might be able to go, head to the Water Garden. It's a shop out near the edge of the city, on the Upriver side. And if you head up that way, you speak with the woman who runs that. Her name is Penthos. You speak with Penthos, and she might be able to help you out. She's the sort who collects those sorts of fancies and baubles and oddities in her shop. So you might be able to get something from her. She dabbles in that magical, mystical side of things.
Well, that's incredibly helpful, Mr. Old Man. Thank you so much for that information. Is that very helpful? I guess. Yeah, that seems like a new place to go.
Like I said, it's on the upriver edge of the city. You'll be able to find it. It's not that hard. You ask around a couple folks up that way. They're nice. If you folks are traveling the way I assume you are, you docked Downriver side, and I'm guessing you met one of the welcoming committees down there that, the folks on the upriver side they tend to be a little friendlier. They'll be able to point you the right way without having a shakedown or anything.
Well, Ted was very nice. I cannot wait to meet the rest of the town.
Well, then I guess we're going to talk to Penthos. But
I mean, unless you want any of the maps I have here, I mean, I've got perfectly good maps that'll sort you for just regular travel to real places on the river that real people go.
Do you have a map of town?
That I do. I got a couple of them. You want? Town shifts around every now and again, but I got one here that's pretty recent. Made it a couple months ago. I'd be able to part with it for about say 25 silvers.
Pay the man, Doctor.
I'm so broke.
And I will say for you, since you're a friend of the family, I'll let you. I'll give you the benefit of this is a guaranteed map. So if you ever come back to the city and find that it's inaccurate, if things have shifted around since the last time you looked at the map, I'll be able to give you an updated version.
Hey, that's a good deal. All right. Doctor, pay the man, damn it. Let's get this map.
I was gonna say you pay the man.
What?
I paid the docking fee. I feel like I didn't have to, but I did.
Oh, no. Oh, all right. All right. I'll go ahead and pay Mr. Old Man. And hey, old man, while you're at it, give me a map of the single bars in town as well. Because, hey, I'm always looking for those.
Oh, I mean, if you had dealt with Cynthia for who knows how long. Yeah, let me, 5 extra gold and y'all, or not gold, we don't deal
River
with gold
silver.
the silvers, five silvers, and I'll toss in an addition to the main map that points out a couple of the interesting spots around.
Just as long as there's no women there that are like Cynthia. I loved her.
I can't guarantee that, but there will be plenty who aren't.
She broke my heart when she left me for that man. He was a rich man from the city.
I don't remember Cynthia dealing with a rich city man. When was this?
He wasn't really a rich man. He was lying to her, but she was still swept away.
I don't remember any of this.
She was left penniless on the sun.
Well, here's your 25 gold. We'll take the map. Thanks.
Oh, Lord, what have I done? I never should have left you, Cynthia.
The dwarven proprietor now being a little bit confused by things. And starting to wonder if you really did know Cynthia. But the two of you skedaddle out of the shop.
See you later. Fuck you.
With the aid of that map, you are going to be able to pretty easily make your way up to the water garden. Is there anywhere else that you want to swing through on your way there, or are you heading straight there to try and find this map?
Maybe like a local coffee shop, so we can get some some snacks. We can go and get the cool the bread cake that's really popular in this part of town. Like they get a cool a cool croissant, or
Ooh, yeah. What kind of espresso? What's the reputation of the espresso here?
Zagazny espresso is well known for being really strong.
Tight.
Which some people like and some people don't. A lot of people, they don't really understand what espresso is supposed to. So they don't care for it.
Do they make it using river water?
Yeah, because I'm not really into that.
Well, yes, because that's what they have access to.
Oh, great. No, that's perfect. That's all the doctor drinks.
Oh, beautiful.
All river water all the time.
I'm river water free, actually. It's a dietary choice. I only use rainwater and water recycled from other people. I find that it's environmentally more aware. And, it's not really catching on. People don't seem to be into it at all.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe. Probably not though, but maybe.
Yeah. You guys, if you stop out an espresso bar, you get some good espresso. You find a note in your pocket actually that Botanks had written for one of you that was asking that you bring him back. Botanks wanted you to bring back some just beans. To be able to make some coffee on the ship at some point, and also some of those little hard sort of cookies that they have.
Now get a bunch of rocks and put them in a sack, and we'll say the beans.
Botanks couldn't remember what those cookies are called, but that's what they wrote. Get some of those good cookies.
He must have slipped this note in our pocket when we were sleeping together. Not sure that.
You have your espresso. You're all jazzed up. You're good to go, and you make it to the water garden. And the water garden is one of these shops that's way up higher than it feels like it should be, not just for OSHA requirements, but also just physics wise. That shouldn't work, but it's up there. And you climb up some sort of wooden stairs back and forth, feeling if you're not about heights, man, it's quite something. But eventually you get up there and you step inside, and as rickety and dangerous looking as it is on the outside, it's not much better on the inside, but it's at least homey. There's the scent of some incense in the air from some of the river plants. There's some throw tapestries up on the walls. There's a rug on the floor, and there's a whole bunch of jewelry and trinkets and knickknacks. Lots of odd little things just all over shelves, sort of pell-mell throughout this store. And as you push open the door to enter, a little bell rings up at the top, and after a moment, a woman steps out from sort of behind a curtain that's behind the main desk of the store, and she steps out, and you can see that she is a riverfolk woman. The riverfolk are the people most distinctly connected with the river itself, and they are one of the magical races who has sort of drifted upriver away from the human empires. But she steps out, and she gives each of you a little nod as you have entered the store, but she doesn't immediately say anything. She seems to be more letting the two of you just sort of look around if you want, or if you want to speak, you'll make the opening of the conversation.
Doctor, another river folk person. I know that you're a river folk person. It's really difficult to find, compatible people in your circle. Just saying.
Yes, I am a river folk, as I totally knew from the beginning.
I mean, not to try to put you in a box or something. I mean, I know you grew up in a very mixed household of elves and river people together, and you have a very rich background. But I don't want to intrude. Point out every single other river folk person that walks by and point them at you. But I just wanted to be helpful. I just thought it'd be interesting or good for you to find, such an attractive, I assume attractive. I'm making the call here that she's an attractive river folk lady. If that's this kind of thing you're into, are you into that kind of thing, Doctor?
I'm gonna talk to the river lady and say, "Sup, dog? We're looking for maps."
Oh, that's not the way to do it, Doctor. You're never gonna find love that way.
Looking for cool magic maps. Looking for
No, that's actually the traditional riverfolk greeting.
Yeah, sup,
and
dog?
she responds with the appropriate gesture of raising out her hand to slap you 5. And after that greeting has been
wait, does she go low?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's sort of like that
low,
that super casual, sort of low sideways, just gimme skin.
She goes low, but that's the thing. She's too slow.
Ooh, shit, yeah.
Whoa.
That's actually a sign of major disrespect among the
man.
riverfolk to do that on a first greeting. She's very offended.
Sorry, it's just you don't run into riverfolk that often, and you just gotta take the opportunity when you get it.
She is taken aback, and she crosses her arms really fast. And so, what brings you to my store then?
Like I said, dog, looking for cool maps, cool magic maps.
Cool magic maps,
Cool, magic maps.
And what sort of cool magic map are you looking for, dog? Are you looking for a cool magic map that always points the way you want to go? Are you looking for a cool magic map that tells you where all the lovers whose hearts you've broken are on the river? Are you looking for a cool magic map that shows the stars' movement in real time?
Nah, homie, we're looking for a map of the I don't want to say this too loud, but we're looking at a map of the crystal nets.
Word,
dog.
So you're looking for a map of the crystal nets, no cap.
Sorry.
All right, and that's it for TWOS, guys.
God, I know I like to apologize to the developers of Upriver Downriver for what we've done to riverfolk in about 3 minutes.
Throw another apology on the fire.
If you at home are interested in the game, I would encourage, make your riverfolk they're just Gen Z. That's what they talk like, man.
Do they?
Just a weird mix of 90s lingo and Gen Z.
What does no cap mean? I'm not there yet. What does no cap mean? I really don't know.
Oh no, it's like suggesting that you're telling the truth, Alex.
Oh, okay.
It's to show up to a place without a hat on.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're seen as being slightly rude because you don't have a hat to take off later on during the day.
That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right at all. It sounds very wrong.
Anyway, you're looking for a map of the crystal nets.
Yep.
That's what you're saying. That's what you're looking for.
Don't say it so loud. Crystal nets,
And no one's going to hear us up here. I don't always put this out there, but the two of you are the first people who've walked into this store in probably about 5 days. So I'm not too concerned about eavesdroppers just happening to listen in on oh my goodness, the crystal nets. Even if they were, it wouldn't do them any good, because they won't know how to acquire it, if I even have such a thing.
Could I make a suggestion for foot traffic? Maybe don't make your store 20 stories into the sky. Might help.
No, I mean, maybe if I could afford the lower down pricing. The river level.
It costs less to build a 20-story tall store than it does to be a ground level?
No, this was already... No, this This was already built. It's not about
See, it's a rental, Doctor. It's a rental.
It's not about paying for. No, I own the store. It's just that, real estate prices these days.
You bought flat? Damn, that's crazy.
It's what I could afford. It's what I was able to.
In this market, the economy's in shambles.
It was several years ago when we were in more of the. It was the bull market era. That's when I was able to make the purchase.
That's right. Crypto River coin was really blowing up then. You didn't buy the dip? What the hell? Dog.
Anyway, you want a map of the crystal nets. That's what you're here for. That's the plot of this adventure, right?
We seriously suck at this. Okay.
What, you didn't like my Crypto River coin bit?
As it so happens, I do have the ability to give you roughly 1/4 of a complete map.
Whoa, that's a lot of quarters there. Hey, all right.
And it wouldn't be if you already have a piece of it, which I assume that you do if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, we totally have a piece of it.
Yes.
I'm not asking if you have it on you. I'm just assuming that you have possession in some way.
We started this one-shot mid-story, so we're assuming that we've been successful so far in everything we've done up to this point.
Well, given that it was in the exposition at the beginning of the one-shot about where you're at, then yes.
Sure.
You do. If you remember back, you do have one part of it already. So
that was like a millennia ago, but you're right.
So, what I can do is indeed grant you another 1/4 of the river of the map. But it's a very rare thing, and the method by which I can grant it to you, while preserving my copy so that I can do the same for other people in the future, because you boys aren't the first ones who've come looking for the map. But it's a rather expensive process to copy it over, as it were. So I will have to ask for rather a large sum of silvers, or because you two have the look of you have a look about you that you aren't exactly, you didn't buy the dip yourselves, as it were.
Yeah, we haven't showered in a few days.
So, I can offer you
robbed.
in place
almost immediately.
in place of paying outright for the map, you could render unto me certain services, which would be counted forward towards the cost of acquiring this very important piece of information.
Wow, I walked up to this quest as NPC person thinking she was just going to be like a store person, and now she's giving out quests, man. It's
incredible. It's like Skyrim all over again.
This is so surprising from an NPC that I find them to be so multifaceted.
Yeah, you didn't realize it, but Todd Howard got you again.
Wow.
Hey, you're finally awake.
Yeah, that's how I should. One of these one-shots, I will start that way, I swear to God.
I like how you veered into McConaughey again.
Yeah, I did. It's like I said, it's floating somewhere on the east end.
It wanders back and forth. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. Just like McConaughey.
It's like the river.
And the river.
It's like the river. You never know where it's going to go. McConaughey is a river.
Is he a Democrat? Is he a Republican? Is he really running for governor? Who knows? Hey, all right.
Maybe McConaughey was the friends we made along the way.
Probably.
All right.
It's a very McConaughey thing to think about, so.
What kind of services? I am a doctor. Air quotes on the doctor, but I am one. I can first aid the shit out of anything.
And I'm really good at shooting people.
Well, first aid is potentially going to be rather useful, actually. And so is the shooting part.
Oh,
do you need me to poison someone? I can poison someone.
The poison might be handy. See, here's the skinny, boys. Here's the deal.
I can minor surgery.
The reason, potentially, that you two are the first people to stop in my shop in 5 days has less to do with the climbing of the stairs up to the shop and more to do with the fact that my store was burgled and that I was very irate and violent in my attempted response to the burgling. And I think a lot of people are a little bit afraid that my temper has gotten the better of me and is lingering, which is quite untrue, as you can tell from our conversation here and now.
Yeah, you're super chill, dog.
My temper is very, very under control. Very, very checked.
Yeah, just fine.
So...
You went and got yourself canceled, I see.
Yes, I've been canceled by Twitter. And what I'd like the two of you to do is to go retrieve from the ruffians who burgled my store one of the goods that they took, and also retrieve from me at least one of the ruffians, so that I can have a good chat with them about civic responsibility and neighborly conduct, and not breaking into people's stores and stealing their goods and just their property.
All right.
Now, if you are willing to, I can point you almost exactly to where the ruffians are. It's just a matter of dealing with them because I'm not very capable.
Could you mark where they are on this map? Sorry, ignore the singles bars. That's for a different quest.
No, actually, that singles bar right there, the
Give me the name.
The gaping mermaid, that's the one.
The what?
2 birds, 1 gaping mermaid. All right.
Oh,
It's a rather unfortunate name, I know.
there's still time to change that, Brian.
Nope.
Nope. All right. All right.
Much like you and your travels up and down the river, I live my life by the mantra of once a decision's been made, there's no turning back. We just keep moving forward.
And people think that Helix is the responsible one. All right, let's go on to the gaping mermaid.
So yes, that's the one. They're probably in one of the side rooms. That's where they like to hang out, from what I've heard. That's where they kick it in between. What's the new one? Devious licks, I think is what they're calling it.
No, they're really not, man.
They are actually. It's a TikTok
That's what the
trend.
river folk are calling it, according to us. So
On River Talk.
Wow.
So yes, that's if you could head there and just I mean, honestly, the two of you look like rather rugged sailing types, and if you're traveling to the source, I have to imagine you're rather capable.
Sure.
In a great many venues. So
Yeah.
honestly, if you just want to go down there and beat the piss and vinegar out of those boys, and then drag one of them back, that would be dandy. That would make my day.
I will tell you, as a doctor, not to disappoint you, vinegar doesn't come out of people.
It does if you try hard enough, and if they've ingested it recently.
All right, then. 0.1 to you, 0.0 to doctor. Got it. I got fucking schooled.
You know, I'm a very peaceful man, although I am a professional shooter of things. I do not approve of the idea that we're going to go off and commit violence just because some bad store owner wants us to, because she happened to get herself canceled by the community for being unpleasant.
You know, that is a very admirable way to live. You must follow the path of the lovers, don't you? You have that
I do.
sense about you. But, and here's the thing. I understand that if that's your whole deal, right? You don't like to attack unprovoked.
Help me justify this.
But you also cannot abandon the innocent. And I clearly am the innocent in this situation. And if you do not at least attempt to aid me in some way in regathering my belongings and getting to have a word with one of these young ruffians, that I would classify that as abandonment. I do have abandonment issues, so I classify lots of things in that manner.
Oh God, yes.
She's got you there, dog.
Just this is so much like Cynthia, man. She said the same kind of things, man. Everything was abandonment issues.
I don't believe you ever knew a Cynthia. I'm pretty sure that was all made up.
Are you?
Maybe not.
How would you know? You weren't there.
Maybe I was serious about my riffing. Who knows?
I have many abilities. You of all people here in this room, well, of the two of you, being river folk, Mr. Doctor, should know that we have many senses and magical and superstitious and supernatural capacities about us.
I totally know that.
You don't know what I know. You don't know what I see or hear.
Did she just exoticize herself? That's a strange thing to do, man. That's strange, man. I mean,
I'm just stating a fact about the river folk and our connection to the river and the magic of the river.
I mean, aren't we all just river people at the end of the day?
Some more than others.
We're gonna go poison all these ruffians, because that's my method of dealing with all my problems in life.
I mean, good luck if you can. Good. I wish you the best.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, no, I got this. I can create poison very easily. I'm doing it right now.
I see that. It's rather upsetting that you're doing it right here in public.
Clink, 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 clink.
I don't like that you're doing it right in front of me. You could have gone somewhere a little more private.
No. You said no one comes in here. This is pretty private already.
I mean, yes, but I'm here, and I'm rather. Look, you can finish making your poison in the store if you must, and then be on your way. It's not a long walk over there.
Clink, 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 clink. Poor.
All right, so
Clink, clink.
Alex, you would actually like to be making some poison?
Sure, why not?
Go ahead and roll to create poison. I would say that this would be probably spirits would be the best stat for like your sort of, because spirits governs like knowledge and things like that. So I would say a spirits roll with your ability of create poison. Try and whip something up.
As I have this ability, do I get advantage or just rolling one?
You just roll normally. You just don't have disadvantage.
Perfect. All right, here we go. Come on, dice. Daddy needs a new pair of poisons. That is a total of 14.
14. All right. That is a success on... That would be like a difficult success. So yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, you are able to whip up a pretty decent, what you think is a pretty decent little poison here. It's one that is one you've made before. It's made of some fairly common reagents and ingredients. But it's one that's nice because it's debilitating without being like outright deadly. So it's not gonna like accidentally just, you killed all these guys and that's a problem. It's more just debilitating. And one of the other nice things about it is that you have your preference as you're making it, that you can make this as a powder that is such that you will be able to, you could sprinkle it into someone's food or drink, or you could sort of blow it in their face. And if they inhale it, that would pretty much do the same trick. Either way, it's pretty quick acting, and starts to really mess with their system.
Perfect. Achoo! And then no, I'm kidding.
Perfect. Just snorts it up there in the store. All right, now that I'm jazzed, let's go.
It's a poison and a party. Let's do this shit. No, yeah. Okay, cool. I like that.
All right. So having prepared in that way, you then make your way over to the Gaping Mermaid, which is referring to the mouth of the figure on the signage. The mouth is what's gaping, you sick bastards.
But what about the back door?
I mean, you enter through the front door of the building. You don't know where the back door is.
I'll find it
Somewhere else.
I always do.
Anyway, you enter inside, and it's a pretty rough and tumble sort of. You get the sense this is less like a singles bar for singles to meet each other, and more that just like couples won't come here because like it's not very date material, you know? It's pretty...
It's a singles bar where singles come to fight.
Yeah, that's more what it is.
Man, this happens to me every time I come out to a place. I think it's that place for me where I'm gonna finally find love, and all I find is a bunch of upset other men who can't find love
right
either.
And then you're there, you start coming in on weekdays. They say you come to the place, but you can't talk about the place, and every time you come, your first time, you have to fight.
And it turns out your best friend was you all along. It's crazy.
And then you blow up a bunch of credit card companies. Just another day on the river. Crazy days.
It would be convenient if our like imaginary friends could actually be here in this game, so we could actually like fill up the roster of the rest of the ship. That'd be nice, you know.
I thought you were my imaginary friend.
I thought you were mine.
Wait.
Are you real?
Well, now that we're having an existential crisis, at precisely that moment, the two of you
Tyler Durden
hear from off to the side. Yeah, actually, I mean, hey, fuck it. That'll be the name of one of these ruffians. You hear off to the side a rather loud clamor from one of the side rooms that you're thinking is probably a good idea, that's where you are going to be looking to go, because the what you hear is, well, gods damn it, Tyler, what the hell do you think the thing does anyway? I mean, what's the point of having this if we don't even know what it does?
Yeah, seriously, Tyler, what the fuck? What was he pointing at? What do my elf eyes see?
You can't see. You don't have elf eyes. You have riverfolk eyes, and they can't see shit because there's a lot of smoke in the air, and also you're not in the room where that sound came from.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's a side room. You're gonna have to walk over.
I want to walk over to the side room. Riverfolky wise.
All right, you guys walk over to the side room. They've got sort of the batwing doors, so you can't really see much inside unless you're gonna either like poke right up to try and get a glance inside, or if you're just gonna sort of open them and step in.
But okay, wait, before we go in, look, grow tanks, grow tanks, bow tanks. Which one are you?
Hey, Cap, it's Captain Botanks. I'm gonna grow tanks, and it's just a terrible inconvenience that this happened. I mean, a million ships out there, and I happen to end up on the same one as a Captain Botanks. I mean, he's such a dick too, man. It sucks.
Right with his.
Anyway, what were you asking?
What? Okay, look. I've got the poison. It's ready to poison.
Oh, all right.
But I'm not that good at administering the poison. How are you at physical altercations?
Oh, I'm great at them. In fact, that's actually one of my highest skills is physical altercations. It says here right here on my business card. I'm really good at strength, charm, physical altercations, and then climbing things.
That's what it says on the card.
Yeah.
This is a good card.
It does. It's very.
Oh, you've even got rates
and
on the other side. $60 for climbing something? That's crazy.
Are we shifting from Fight Club to American Psycho here? What are we doing?
Actually, yes.
The raised text? You son of a bitch!
It's true. So how about this? You cover me in poison. I go in there and just brawl and climb and just wrestle as many people as I can. Try to get in their mouths, that sort of thing.
I think.
And I'll poison them by beating them into submission and getting into their bloodstream.
That's a crazy fucking idea, and I think it's gonna work. All right, look. Best place to put the poison, probably in your mouth. So that way you can just, you can spit it in their faces.
I saw this scene in Dune. I don't think that guy survived that part.
Right. He totally went in, then he, and everybody died.
Yeah. How about I just put it in my hands and like throw it up in the air like I'm LeBron or something.
Oh, you wanna go pocket sand style. I like that. I like pockets. All right, here you go. Okay, so I've got it all in a little like bunched up baggie, right?
Yeah, you can just sort of pour it into his hand. It's not gonna just seep through the pores of his skin. At least not immediately.
Oh, good, cause I'm just out there with my hands cupped like this.
I give him the bunched up baggie. All right, now don't drop it or breathe it in or let it touch your skin
or lick it. Oh shit! All right. And now, hey, before I go in there, are we really doing this? I mean, do we want to just maybe talk with one of these guys and I don't know, maybe we can subdue them with our voices and our social stories, and maybe they'll just kind of come with us. We don't have to do any of this violence at all.
That's batshit crazy. Let's do it.
Which one, the violent thing or the talking thing?
Yes. All right, I'm opening the door. Let's go.
I'm just gonna ingest this poison myself, man. I'm just gonna do it myself because I can't be on this boat no more.
Make sure to get it in your eyes. All right, we're gonna knock on the Batwing door.
We've already established the poison wouldn't kill you.
That's my fiction. You don't get to live my story. I don't tell you how to live yours.
Anyway, so are you guys going in fists raised swinging, or are you going in to talk?
No, we'll go in to talk. We'll use our mouths.
I'm still going in though with a handful of poison though.
All right.
No, it's in a baggie. Put it in a pocket.
So you walk in, maybe with your hands surreptitiously or not, clutching the poison. And you do see that there are 3 ruffians sitting around this table. Ruffians is a very good name for them. And on the table is a device that can only be described as esoteric and confusing. You see a lot of glass, you see a lot of brass, you see what are clearly a lot of moving parts, but they're not moving. You see no less than 3 dials and levers, and it's just very you just have no idea what this thing would do. It looks like no instrument that you are familiar with that you could say what it is. But what you are familiar with is the sort of look of surprise and then anger and impending violence coming from the 3 ruffians as you enter the room. And one of them sort of stands up, and you can see one of his hands dips into a pocket, and he sort of steps up and puffs his chest out and looks at the both of you.
Careful, he might have pocket poison.
What exactly are the 2 of you doing in here, huh? What are you doing in this is our room. This is a private room. You're not invited. What are you doing?
We heard you had troubles with your thing there. Totally broken.
Troubles with the thing. How did you hear that, huh? Because you're not supposed to. Nobody but the 3 of us is supposed to know about the thing. Now that you guys know about the thing, we gotta do something about it.
Hey, it seems like it's kind of a rip-off, man. I mean, I don't know how much you guys paid for this room, but like, it's not very private with the back doors here, because we can hear everything you're saying from the outside here. So, that's just a heads up. These private rooms you're buying, they're not very private. I'm just saying, you could save yourself like maybe 56 of silver and just sit with Gen Pop.
Damn it, Billy, I told you that you were talking too loud. You were yelling too loud again. Your temper gets the best of you. You start yelling really loud and everybody out there can hear you. Causes a lot of problems. Anyway.
Yeah, Billy.
Just a heads up for next time. Just for next time.
Well, you know what? I do gotta say, I thank you for the heads up and letting us know about it. But also, given the fact that you did overhear and now you stepped in, you saw the thing, you see the three of us. Presumably you know something about where it came from, which is why you're interested in it. And because of all that, I think now, unfortunately, we're going to have to, at the very least, give you one hell of a beating. And probably we're going to have to kill you and dump your bodies in the river.
Throw the poison to pocket sand.
Doctor, I'm a path. I follow the path of the lover.
Sand.
And it's very, very important to me that I do not attack somebody unprovoked. However,
you are about to be provoked because the guy with the hand in his pocket pulls it out. He does have a set of brass knuckles on. And he's going to take a wild swing at you.
See, that's very provocative.
And just like that, we're getting into combat. Welcome to combat, everybody. So the way that combat works,
wow,
in this is it's pretty sort of freeform. And so we're just going to be sort of making some rolls back and forth. So what I'm going to do is I will make an opening roll contesting Harold. So Harold, you're going to be rolling as well.
Oh shit.
And in combat, unlike normal rolls where you roll the d12 and add stuff, in combat you roll 2d8.
Oh.
And then you get to add a skill and an ability, or a stat and an ability, as normal. I'll say in lieu of knowing exactly how it works, because these are like the pre-release rules. They're pretty simplified. They've said several times in the rule book that there's going to be more information during the like full release, because like in this they mention bonuses, but they don't really say what those bonuses would be. So I'm going to say that if you're using a relevant ability, you're going to get a +2 bonus to your roll if you have a relevant ability that you're using. So in this opening swing, I will say that Grotanx's brawling ability will apply, because your brawling consists of both, beating the other guy, but also not getting beat too badly yourself.
Further, if I could add, I am a halfling, which I believe says that I may add a 1d4 to my combat roll.
This is true, because the halflings are very often proficient in combat. They are the premier makers of weapons and armor and other combat devices on the river.
That's very cool for halflings in this world. It's very cool for them.
So go ahead and roll your 2d8 and your +1d4, Harold.
Love it. Let's do it.
And you're going to get to add a whole bunch to that, and this guy is almost certainly going to miss you.
Hey, don't undercut him just yet. That was a terrible roll, but I did it anyway. 4, 5, 1. It is a 10.
Is that including bonuses from your stats and abilities and all that?
Let's see. That's with the 1d4, and then I get that +2 as well. I guess that'll make it a 12.
Well, you get the +2 for your ability, but you also get to add your swords. You add your sword stat.
Yeah, you use sword for physical challenges.
Swords of 5. Oh.
Yeah, swords is what you would use for typical physical thing. I mean, swords isn't like the only one you could add in combat, but it's the one that like most people will default to. So you're gonna get to add that.
So I add my swords skill, which is 5,
okay,
to this roll, which is 10.
Yep.
And then I add +2 because I got
for the
brawling.
ability, because that's what we're doing for this.
Yeah,
so that is a total of 17.
17. Yeah. That's one good halfling.
So you did roll higher than this guy.
Sweet.
Because he's just rolling a flat 2d8. He doesn't have anything particularly special going on. And so because you have succeeded, you get to do damage equal to the total of your roll minus the defender's physical defense. So I will leave it to you, Harold. In what way would you like to be defending yourself and at the same time, responding to this attack? You can. It is your choice whether you want to include the poison in that or not.
Sure. Okay. I want to very deftly hobbit dodge this guy's punch. Just by being slightly too short. So I'm just gonna quickly, squish my knees just slightly so he misses me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to toss up the poison right above him as I dash underneath his legs.
Okay, yeah, cool. So you throw the poison into the air. He catches by far the worst of it as you're ducking underneath, and he like he inhales a whole bunch because he starts to say like, "What the fuck?" And then he's like breathing in, and it's all in his eyes and in his face and in his nose, and he starts like, "Oh my god, shit, what is this?" And he's like clawing at his face and scrabbling. He drops the brass knuckles. And he like drops onto the floor as he's trying to like wipe his face, and is very clearly out of the fight. He is not.
It's Dr. Abraham's icy hot.
He is not going to be able to be part of this at all for the rest of this battle. That said, I will swing it over to Abraham if you want to do anything in particular right off the bat. Here you can.
Geez, how smoky is it in this room?
It's decently smoky. Only one of the guys in here was smoking.
Okay. But not enough to like obscure us.
So like most of the smoke has been like sort of drifting in from the general smokiness of the inside of the bar. You can see everyone in the room pretty clearly. The guy that just got downed was a human. One of the other ruffians is also a human, and the one who was seated on like the opposite side of the entrance of the room is a halfling.
Okay. Geez, I'm not very good at physical confrontation. And I don't really have any spells or abilities that could really make a difference here.
I see one ability that could be interesting.
I mean, shapeshift, I guess. I can... Okay.
The abilities seem to be, like, from my reading of things, they seem to be pretty broad and open-ended for you to use them creatively and, like, however you want. So if you want to go ahead and try to that.
If I have the components that I use to make the poison immediately on hand, I would like to make more poison that I could then, on my next turn, I guess, launch at their faces.
You can go ahead and make me a create poison roll.
All right. Is that count as a combat roll? Am I doing 2d8s there, or am I, or 1d12?
For this one, since you're saying you're not like immediately, you're doing it as preparation, sort of in the moment. I'll say for this one, go ahead and roll the d12, and what we'll say is for your poison will potentially give you a bonus on a combat roll.
Here we go. Okay, that is 6 plus 5, 12.
6 plus 5 is 11. Do you have another bonus? I wouldn't call you out on it if you hadn't like said the math out loud. But
I'm good at math. It's 11.
All right, 6 plus 5 is 11.
I love this. We've made some mistakes in this one. It's okay. It's fine.
6 plus 5 is 11d9.
All right, cool. You're able to quickly craft up some more of this poison. This like sort of powdery poison. It's not, because you're working quickly, it's not quite as effective as the other stuff is, or as the other stuff was. So I will say that this would give you a +1 bonus to a roll.
This poison only makes your eyes bleed instead of incapacitate you. So, damn it.
Yeah, it just makes you really itchy. That's the main thing it does.
Perfect.
All right, so though as the one guy is like rolling around the floor, incapacitated from this poison, the other guy, the other human, is like looks down at that and is like, "Oh my god!" And he grabs a bottle off of the table. And smashes it against the table, and it's like a little too short to really be effective as a weapon, but he's still gonna go for it. And he lunges forward and tries to jab that into Grotanks. So Grotanks, I'm gonna need another combat roll from you.
Let's do it.
This guy does. He does get some minimal bonuses here. What did you get?
Okay, I got a 1, a 2. I got fucking 4, and then I add 2 and 5, so I got 11.
Goddamn, halflings are pretty good. Believe it or not, that just barely beats him. And so once again, you can describe if you want how you are avoiding and simultaneously smacking this dude a little bit.
Since Gunner Grotanks has yet to establish any weapons or anything like that, let's go ahead and say he yet again deftly jumps across this. Who is it? A halfling or a human?
This is a human who's attacking.
Okay. I'm going to say he definitely uses his climbing abilities and ducks down. Ducks the guy's strike, latches onto the guy's arm as he's like pulling back, and scurries up to the top of his head and just bashes his face in.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, you're just sort of like legs clinging around his shoulders or armpits and just wailing on the top of his head. And he's like drops the bottle. He's bringing his hands up like, stop, no, God, gee.
Just like a freaked out 4-year-old in the middle of an HEB. You know?
And while that's happening though, finally, the last member of this fray in here, Tyler Durden, the halfling, leaps from his seat and with just an animalistic scream, he draws a knife and charges directly across the table, just like runs across the table and leaps, trying to land on the back of Dr. Abraham, and is attempting to stab him with this knife. So Alex, I'm gonna need a combat roll from you.
Oh, okay, all right. Heyo. I rolled the wrong dice, so never mind.
Nope. Okay. It's the 2d8s.
Yep, I know that now. Heyo, so that is a 5 plus 6, which is 11.
Okay.
Plus 1.
You get the plus 1 for your poison.
Oh, okay, so plus 1 for my poison, which is now 12, but plus 1 for my sword, which is now 13.
Okay. And that actually matches. That is a draw with what occurs between that is a draw with what Tyler Durden the halfling rolled. And so we're having a
do we just kiss?
We're caught in a deadlock. So it's a few different things that can happen. The quick start rules suggest that maybe there's a deciding factor, a tiebreak challenge. Your fight is interrupted by a storm, monster reinforcements. What I'm gonna say happens here is that it's sort of a simultaneous clash as you two are hitting each other. You're able to fling the poison into his face and maybe get a hit in on him as he's landing on you, but he also does land on you and plunges the knife into your back. So what I'm gonna say is roll again with all the same modifiers and bonuses and everything. Okay. And regardless of who rolls higher, this is determining like the damage that you deal to each other.
Okay. 7.
7
okay.
Total. So you like clearly wind him a little bit. You get a little. He definitely inhales some of the poison and is like going to be debilitated from that. It allows you to shake him off after a moment, and he sort of like tumbles onto the floor. But there is a very sharp stabbing pain in your shoulder as you are stabbed with a sharp object in your shoulder. He got a total of what would this be? This is a total of, God, what is my math? 16. So what is Dr. Abraham's physical defense?
Physical defense is 9.
Okay, so you are taking 7 points of damage.
Okay, I only have 9 health, so this is perfect.
Okay, so you've taken it's looking pretty not amazing for Dr. Abraham at the moment. You can feel the deep wound in your shoulder. You're pretty sure you've started to bleed.
Paging Dr. Abraham to hell.
But the fight does go on, and so we'll kick it over to Harold. What would you like to do? You are currently sort of mounted on this man's shoulders like a very angry monkey or toddler, and just beating his head.
As I drive my thumbs into his eyeballs and squish them, I look over to Dr. Abraham. I'm like, Doc, hey, doctor, you're bleeding. Hey, doctor, you know you're bleeding, right?
I'm dying.
Dr. Abraham, you're bleeding.
Yep.
You are going to need to roll for thumb eye squishing because the guy he's not done yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna roll for thumb eye squish.
So yeah, I would say tentatively that would consist as another brawl maneuver. That's brawling.
Cool. Let's do it. All right. I'm brawling. I'm using my thumbs. I'm gonna do a thumb roll.
Yeah, that's still some brawling right there.
I love this. I love playing with. Let's get that nice ASMR sound.
And people thought this game was just an emotional journey up and down the river. Nah, man.
No, this is violence too. This is great.
We murder people here.
Murdered and get murdered.
Oh, 6, 8, 1. So I got a 14, 15 plus 7, 22.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Just call me a little tiny burner man.
Yeah, no, you very deftly, and it's like if everyone else weren't busy with their own thing, they would probably be really concerned about the fact that it looks like you've done this before.
It's because my thumbs are so tiny.
You like wrap your legs around his throat, and as he's like his head comes back and he's locked up and he's now trying to deal with that, you just plunge your thumbs right into his eyes, and he screams out and is very upset as you like just dig your thumbs deep in, and his knees buckle, and then he pitches forward onto the floor, and you just sort of roll off as he drops down onto the ground.
Take that, Pedro Pascal.
What does the Path of Lovers say about eye gouging?
It says it's fine as long as that guy did something to you first.
Oh, he did. He did.
I was provoked.
Sure.
Therefore,
As long as he messed with you, it's not awful.
Kill him.
it's all gravy when you're making gravy.
You suspect that guy may not be one that you can bring back to Penthos.
That's okay. There's a small compact one left. We'll take him instead.
Well, small compact one has rolled off of Dr. Abraham's shoulders, but is very clearly still like got that knife up and ready to go. Doctor, what do you want to do?
Can I toss more poison at him?
Yeah, I'll say you can toss more poison. You have the create poison. You may have some extra poison on your person that you've made in the past. So what I'll do is I'll say this will be it'll be a swords roll.
Okay, I hate it.
For the combat roll, but I'll give you the +2 bonus for the create poison ability.
All right.
That you're using that creatively here.
Come on. Nope, wrong dice again. I'm great at this. I know, we do this all the time. All right, that is 13.
13? That's including the +2 bonus?
And my +1 for sword.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
Oh, good.
Am I gonna die?
You reach in and you grab your poison and you like step forward to try and throw it in his face. But he's wise to your tricks now. And as you step forward,
Quick interruption.
Yeah.
I did my math wrong. I actually got a 12. So just putting that
okay.
out there. Just keeping up the meme.
Oh,
all right.
Man.
Okay, no. That's
man.
Well, so yeah, you step forward and you fling your poison, but Tyler Durden, he closes his eyes and you hear him like breathe out heavily through his mouth and nose at the same time for just a moment. And as you, he like ducks down under the worst of the spray, clearly is not affected by it, and blindly brings the knife forward. And it does connect, and you feel it dig deep into your thigh. And as the man of medicine that you are, you can tell as he wrenches it, twists it, and pulls it out, that he has just like completely destroyed your femoral artery. And you have no ability to stay on your feet. You've already been bleeding from your shoulder, and you've like just your feet go out from under you. You collapse onto the floor, landing in a quickly growing puddle of your own blood. And your vision starts to go dim and very hazy.
I regret nothing.
Is this our first character that's gonna die?
No, we had someone die in Apotheosis, so it's only the review games where we absolutely gank player characters. Apparently,
well, shit.
I'll say that's what Tyler Durden has done effectively with his turn as well. So Harold. Grotanks rises from having gouged out a man's eyes and sees Dr. Abraham lying on the floor, quickly expiring, and Tyler Durden standing there, sort of flipping the bloody knife from hand to hand.
Is a knife? I thought it was a bottle.
No, Tyler Durden had a knife.
Oh.
The other guy had the bottle.
Well, doesn't matter now.
Well, shit, man. Hey, that's my buddy. I'm gonna grab the other halfling. I guess he's like eye level with me, just like from the back, and just choke him out.
Okay, yeah, I'll you'll have to struggle for it, but yeah, go for it. Give me a roll.
Let's struggle.
I will give you the benefit of because he does still have some poison in him that's messing with him too, and so I will also say that he is not able to. He's been adding his swordsmanship essentially with the knife. That's the closest skill, but he will not get that for this roll. because you're sort of bringing it into the grappling, brawling, and he is not as skilled in that regard. Oh, but he rolled really fucking well.
Damn. Thanks for telling me.
Obscenely well.
I did fine.
How fine did you do?
I did fine. 5, 8, 3, 5, 10, 7, 17.
17?
17.
So he, let me think about this for a moment. He only gets a bonus for swords here, and he does take the penalty for the poison. So that is a match, actually.
Oh, okay.
And what I'll say for this match, instead of doing the, you both hit each other, whatever, we'll use one of the other options for what happens when you get a draw on your combat. You two are like struggling, you get the knife out of his hand, that drops. You've got your hands around his throat, trying to like choke him out. He's like scrobbling at you. He reaches around, grabs your hair. He's like trying to pull out your hair and like do anything he can to get you. It's like one of those like modern James Bond fight scenes where it's just real gritty and lots of, just back and forth and everything. And it's finally interrupted by the very clear sound of a gun, of the cocking of the hammer of a gun, right behind your head. And as that is heard, you use like pause. He only strikes for like one more second and then he pauses. And you both sort of turn around and you can see a very large riverfolk man who is pointing a very large gun directly at the two of you. It is a double-barreled pistol. And he looks down at the two of you and says, "All right, I got one shot for both of you, so how about the two of you break up whatever this is and God's damn. Is that guy missing his eyes? That one's clearly dead. All right, how about you boys?"
Never mind him. My doctor friend's bleeding out.
Yeah, no, that's the one I said is clearly dead. I don't think he's bleeding out anymore, son. He's bled out.
I'm dead.
Oh.
That is one dead motherfucker right there.
Later, homie.
Now, you I don't know, but you, Tyler, I know you. You're not supposed to be in here anyway. So what I'm gonna do is say that, Tyler, you got 3 seconds to get the fuck out of my bar.
Whoa, hey man, he just committed a murder.
Well, I'm not the cops. I'm just the bartender. So you got 3 seconds to get out of my bar, or I'm gonna put one right in your skull. Stranger, you let him go. Let him go to leave.
He's bluffing.
I kinda want more pocket poison, but all right, I'll let him go.
All right. As soon as you relax your arms, like even a little, he slips right out of your hold and fucking takes off. And the bartender sort of watches him go, but the pistol is still trained on you. And then he turns back and says, "Now, as for you, I don't think I need to give you 3 seconds on account of you. I mean, it sounds like your friend just fucking died right in front of you, which is pretty sad.
It's true.
So I'm going to let you just do whatever it is you need to do and also get out of my bar. And I'll pretend I didn't see you and didn't see any of this happen."
I killed his friend with my thumbs.
That's pretty cool, but I have a gun. And I think, in my experience, gun beats thumbs.
This wasn't about you, bartender.
So you are gonna grab your things and go.
By things, he means me.
By things, I mean whatever you want to grab out of this room. You want to grab your doctor friend? Great. You want to grab the guy who's crying and snorting and just not looking well. He's clearly got something wrong with him over there. You can grab him. You want to grab that weird ass thing on the table there? You can grab that too. I don't care. I don't give a good God's damn. I just want you out of my bar. Does that sound amenable to you, or am I gonna have to pull both these triggers?
Well, if you give me a minute, I'll let you know. All right? Shit.
I'm not giving you a minute. I want to hear your decision now, and then you get the minute to leave.
Hey, excuse me. I'm looking around here. I'm trying to collect myself as I'm covered in my friend's blood. Give me a moment, please. Jesus Christ.
It's really only your feet that are covered in his blood. It seemed like he bled out mostly on the floor there.
I'm a halfling. Those are very close to me, all right? They are less than 2 feet away. All right. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to quickly check over Dr. What's his face? We weren't that close after all.
Oh, man.
All right, you check him, grab your things, and get going. I'm going to come back here in about 5 minutes, and if you're still here, then we're going to have a problem. But until then, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you. 5 minutes is very kind, Mr. Dr. Bartender Wet Blanket.
I'm not a doctor. I'm just a bartender.
Yeah, and a wet blanket, too. Okay, let's keep going.
I've never been more offended in my life. You got 3 minutes now, Buster. And he shoves.
I got blood on my
He
thumbs.
shoves the gun in a holster on his belt and turns around and walks away.
Well, I'm feeling very discouraged now, as I was sent off on a side quest that's now killed my main counterpart. So, I suppose I'm gonna collect the thing on the table, and I'm going to maybe check on the other guy that was poisoned. If I was not a halfling, I would say I'd take him with me, but I suppose I'm quite small. So I figured I'll just take this thing on the table and check on Dr. Abraham. Is he really dead?
He's dead. He's really fucking dead.
Is he really, really dead?
He is absolutely dead.
Dead as disco, baby.
Oh well, I suppose things are as they are, and you wake up one day thinking that you're just gonna go into town and take care of a few errands, see the world a little bit, maybe find love. Next thing you know, you got some strange man's blood in your thumbs. Your friend's dead, your doctor's dead, and you were just about to go to him to see if he would check out some lumps on the back you found on your neck, and now you got no one to do that for you. And now you're stuck here with this.
Hey, you got about 90 seconds in there.
Excuse me, I'm monologuing. I have this weird esoteric piece of item in my hands. I don't know what to do with it. I mean, I'm 3 feet tall, man. I can't do all this. I got a body to carry. I got a friend to bury. I gotta find a map. I got a net to do. It's too much, man. It's too much. If only I had a full crew with me and like a decent sense of like the ship I was sailing on too. That would be really nice.
If only you had a full retinue of maybe 3 to 5 players, which is the suggested number of players to have for a full game of Upriver, Downriver.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll just continue this campaign with just me. Let's go ahead for another hour and a half, and I'll go ahead and collect all the things we need from this room, and I'll head on out.
You grab the thing off the table. It's not like a very big thing. It's very intricately designed, but it's not particularly large or heavy, so you're able to pretty easily grab that. And the guy who is still like wheezing and coughing and trying to brush the poison out of his face. He is in zero shape to put up a fight. As soon as you try to grab him and bring him along, he just, I'll come with you, man. What is this shit? God, geez.
I'm gonna make him crouch the entire time though, because I'm gonna be like pulling him along.
Yeah, he sort of squat walks behind you. It's very uncomfortable for him, and he lets you know that, but he does follow.
That'll learn him.
You drag with random ruffian in tow behind you. You head on back to the water garden. You climb all those rickety stairs and you make it back in. And when you step inside, Penthos sees you and come in with the thug in tow. And she points at him and she says, "That's exactly what I wanted to see. I'm very glad that this is here. What happened to you? Where's your friend? What? Oh my God.
You don't notice?
Oh my God.
You don't notice that something might be wrong here?
No, I know that something's very wrong because your friend isn't with you anymore.
He died! He died trying to do your stupid little errand. Why couldn't you just help us? We were just asking for your help like good people.
Your friend died, huh?
You took advantage of us. Woman, I mean, he liked you. He thought you were cute.
I did no such thing. I did not take advantage of anyone. I asked you to perform a service for me.
How could you asked strangers off the street to commit violence for you? I mean, I think you should see some jail time or something. I got a strange man's blood on my fingers.
It didn't have to be violence. I mean, you boys could have gone down there, and I think my words were beat the piss and vinegar out of them, but
you did say something about
that could have been taken. Yeah, I think that's coming out of context now, and I think that I think the subtext of what I said was clearly that I wanted you to speak with these young boys and show them the error of their ways through language and compassion,
ma'am,
and empathy,
ma'am. You have a doctor's blood on your hands, and he's poisoned, so good day to you.
No, you have a doctor's blood on your feet, but I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. For several minutes now, I've been sensing, well, you may not know this. I mean, you're a halfling, so you know lots of things, but you seem more of that sort of salt of the earth type. You're not as in tune with the river as my people are. And one thing you've come to know when you have been with the river for as long as we have.
Do not diminish my relationship with the river, okay? It's not a competition.
Look, I'm a river folk, so I literally have a bonus to being in tune with the river. That's what I get for my race as a character, as an NPC in this.
Another river folk person who thinks they have a special relationship with the river.
But my point is, your doctor, if I marked him as well as I did, should know better than anyone that death is not the end on the river. Isn't that right, Doctor? And she looks over into a corner of the store, and as you turn to look as well, you see, sort of see-through, and a little bit like an apparition, but very clearly there, is Dr. Abraham Melchior.
What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy, Dr. Melchior.
Doctor, I was so happy to see you. And hey, I'm so sorry about the fact that you just got stabbed so violently. I should have watched out for you.
Nah, bro. I heard you earlier. Not that close, huh? Yeah, I get you. I see where this is going. You dick.
What? No, it's fine. Listen, like we were just getting going. I mean, what have we done? Like 2 weeks on the river? We were gonna be friends, but now it seems like it's just kind of a mood kill. You know what I'm saying? Like now we got this complication. But hey, now the boat's gonna go much faster because we just cut like a 250 pounds. I don't know how much you were before. About 170, 200 pounds off the boat there. So we'll be clipping now, man. We'll be moving fast.
I didn't want to say it earlier, but yes, Dr. Abraham definitely is thick with 2 C's.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe being a dead ghost man will improve my doctoring. I don't know.
Well, you will be able, you're going to experience some changes. You will be able to do many of the things that you did before.
Sweet.
You won't be able to go on land because your soul is now directly tied to the river.
Well, land's boring anyway.
You're allowed here because we built the city on the water. It's all floating here, so it's sort of a it's a little bit of a workaround.
Sweet.
But you may develop some ghostly powers that you'll be able to make use of. And in fact, I think I'll make use of your new state of being right here, right now. If you would just guide this young man, she points to the injured ruffian. If you want to guide him just over into the side corner there, he can wallow there for a little while. I'll speak with him in just a bit. And you, Doctor, come over here.
Ooh, I float on over.
And you go on over to her, and she digs around for a little bit, and she pulls up an inkwell, and she says, "Doctor, I'd like you to hold out your finger."
Okay.
And hold very still and steady. And as you do that, she tips the inkwell over, and very clearly nothing comes out of the inkwell, but the end of Dr. Abraham's ghostly finger suddenly begins to turn dark and be stained as though covered in ink. And she says, when you hold that very carefully and steadily, and when you return to your ship, the first thing you should do is take that finger and go ahead and tap it on the map that you have so far for the crystal nets.
Oh, okay.
And it will reveal another portion. It will reveal the portion that I have possession of. You will need to find more. It won't complete the map for you unless you've gathered quite a bit already. You'll be able to find more elsewhere along the river. I believe the next place that I could recommend is if you would be able to submerge your vessel to reach the buried river beneath the glass. The elves there, I'm told, have possession of another piece of the map.
Can we do that? Can we submerge our boat? Is that something that we can do?
Well, you probably don't know how to do it yet, but I can teach you for a fee. Or a favor.
Capitalism.
I don't have any more money. I've died.
Well, it sounds like you will probably be doing a favor for me then. You boys run on back to your ship for now and touch your finger to the map, get what you can there, and then come back and see me tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll be able to work something out to let you reach your next destination.
You know what? How about we let Captain Brotanks take care of this from now on?
I mean, if you want to send your captain to see me, that's fine as well. I'll deal with anyone. That's fine.
When we get back to the ship, don't tell them I'm dead. Just let me freak them out a little bit, you know? Like maybe I'll come up from underneath the ship. I'll go ooh, and then see.
How about I stand like inside your spirit and like make it look like you have like little tiny feet. Like,
oh man!
That's you have like little tiny feet instead.
That's fucking funny, dude. Holy shit! That's like the funniest thing we've ever done.
Wow, that's so fun.
Actually, Doctor, I should say, most people are a little bit they're not used to ghosts. I mean, it's not that we've never seen one before, but they're not usual. So let me give you this is a cloak that you should be able to wear. Just go ahead and throw that on and pull the hood over like this. Yes, that's good. And that should make most people will probably just think that you're some weird guy in a cloak. That'll be better. That'll be better, I think.
Ooh, neat ghost fashion.
So business as usual. Got it.
Yeah, nice.
More or less. Well, like I said, you boys go run off and do that, and come back to see me tomorrow, and we'll see if we can't get your boat submerged. And she ushers you out of the store. And as you're making your way back onto the streets of Zagazny, that is where we will end things, here on the Gloss Road, where the water is as green as grass and as blue as the sky.
And the only survivors are Grotex. Oh yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's do that little feet thing that you talked about. That sounded like fun. And then we...
Oh yeah.
Look at that. Look at us. Silly.
Oh, look. Hey, I'm excited.
Oh my God.
So crazy.
Just two buddies having ghost fun. Doing ghost pranks.
Just two buddies inside of each other.
Oh, hey. You know what? Now that you have this cloak, how about like you float around and then like I'll stick my head out of the cloak so people think like you're just like a tall man with like a little tiny head.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Hold on. Oh, this is hilarious. Look how.
That's great. We should find 3 or 4 halflings, like put them into the cloak too, and just like do this all day.
We really keep this gag going for like 15 minutes after I've tried to end the adventure part of the episode. So now that we've played a brief adventure to look at some of the rules of Upriver, Downriver, and how it works, let's go around the table and give some initial impressions of the game.
I really liked this. This was a really very, very accessible, fun, exciting, and very original game setting that I feel really kind of smitten with. It's got a lot of the stuff that I really like in role-playing games that's really complicated to do in other settings, that like, you know, ships, travel, and it's really, it's simple. And I don't want to say like, oh, it's like really basic and easy. It's not basic and easy, but it's like, it's laid out really simply and clearly, which I think is so hard to do. And some of the other examples of other games I've seen have just completely botched that part. So, you know, just on that alone, this game has completely wowed me. Just the simple art, the very minimal aesthetic of this book, and all the stuff I've seen so far is very, very appealing, very pleasing, and yeah, like I said, it's obviously in that canon of D&D of fantasy games. But it does feel very fresh and very, very unique. It feels open still, but the focus of this game on sort of, you know, on a direction, I think is oddly clever and simple. I'm going to stop saying simple.
I think there's a really great concept going throughout this whole game, at least from what I can pick up in the quick start guide that we received, which is right. This is a finite journey, and really it's a concept that I don't see applied to too many games. Right, this is a game that you start that has a defined endpoint, which for itself creating a contained adventure with so many aspects is really exciting. I'm not almost. I am. I'm very sad that we given our format and the amount of time that we have to jump into this, we didn't get an opportunity to sort of explore some of these other concepts that are in it, some of these other settings and cities that are possible to visit. But our small incursion into the world of Upriver, Downriver proved to be a lot of fun. I'm glad we did get to explore the mechanics that we did get to check out, and we touched on probably what I think is the most interesting mechanic, aside from ship combat, which is becoming a ghost. I know we joked around with it a lot, but reading through just the quick start section of it, there's a lot of stuff you could do as a ghost that I think really adds just this touch of mechanical interest that, again, death is not the end of your character, which is just not a concept you see pushed in a lot of other games. But on top of that, right, there's just that continuing theme of, well, even though your character's dead, that's not the end of the journey, right? You still have ways that you can contribute, and you're limited now in specific ways, but you're also kind of more, you've been given these additional abilities, which I just think it's really interesting, and I love that addition to the game.
Yeah, and if I could add in on that too, I think that part's really going to be very appealing to a certain style of role player who really wants to craft their character and really is motivated to create a very well-rounded person. And this game is interesting because the combat and challenges are actually quite challenging, and it does seem to really stay that way all throughout. So the chances of dying do seem pretty high, and the idea that you can still be a part of the story and still get to extend your character even further from the limitation of death is going to really create a whole lot of brand new circumstances and storylines that I think a lot of people are really going to take advantage of.
Yeah, I definitely was really impressed by this game. It's really, really neat. It's really interesting. It's other words that also mean that same concept. No, it's super fascinating to me because my first instinct might be to say it's doing something new, but I don't even know if it's necessarily doing something new as much as something that I don't think a lot of games have been doing recently. Where it's really trying to drive at this very specific idea of what this game is, what it's going to be for, the sort of stories and games that you're going to get out of it as a system, and it does that really, really well. I think it's really well made and lovingly crafted for creating this sense of this very sort of archetypal mythical story of the journey. Right? It's literally your journey up or down the river, for whatever reasons your characters might have to do that. We didn't do it tonight because of, trying to move things along and have a good, exciting moment to share, the system. But it really encourages you as players to think about, who are your characters? Why are they making this oath? Why are they throwing away potentially everything that they have for this goal that most people would, hands down, flat out say is unattainable? What is it that's driving them? And then you get to play that journey out in this very finite way, like Alex said, of this very definitive, 4 to 12 sessions, and that's it. That's your story. And that's really, really cool. So I think overall, my initial impression is this is a game I want to come back to. This is a game that I will be revisiting, because I think it has a lot of really neat things going on. And as part of that, getting a little more specific, what do you think is the most exciting, unique, or fun part of Upriver, Downriver as a system or a setting? And Alex, you, I think, kind of already touched on what may be your answer for this.
So I know I mentioned, right, the ghost side of things, or death, and how that continues your characters being a very interesting mechanic. I think there's another set, just as something to entice you, right? Let me lay it out flat. I really enjoyed this game, and I really want, same as you, Brian, I think it'd be great if we come back to it and actually put in more than just an hour and a half, 2 hours to it, like a full round of it. I think probably one of the most exciting and unique mechanics that I'm seeing here is a mechanic that we didn't really get to touch on, which is ship combat. We didn't get to touch on this, but for every character, there are specific ship moves. Depending on your ship, there are special abilities. Mainly, maybe this is just me. I have a lot of the games I've played haven't had vessel to vessel combat, or, and in that, right, I haven't gotten to explore that in many other games, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of other people don't get to either. The fact that that's a central thing in this game, that, right, when you have your full crew going up against another crew, that idea is really exciting and opens up for a lot of possibilities as far as combat or just situations you can get into. So really, for me, that's kind of the most exciting thing that we didn't even get to touch on, unfortunately, but it's there and it looks really cool from what I've read.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in this game that I think are really neat that we didn't really get to explore. I mean, we had a very limited time. We got to touch on, basics, how do you roll, basics of combat, which, these are quick start rules. So a lot of what we were rolling on tonight is just like what was given to us. And we're super thankful for that. And it's incredibly generous that the developers reached out and offered this for us. But like right in the PDF that we got, they say in almost every section, the full release will have more. The full release has more information. These are simplified versions of these rules. But one that I think we do see at least a fair amount of in the quick start rules that I think is really phenomenal, and that we didn't get to tonight, is the communion system they have in the game for communing with the river as a character. And I think it's really, really neat because it's this super fascinating combination of something that can drive the story forward and something that drives the characters forward mechanically as well. Basically, the way it works is they encourage, especially at the end of a session, for your character to commune with the river. And it also happens normally when you die and become a ghost. You get an instant free communion with the river. And when you do that, you draw from a deck of the major arcana of the tarot, and you get either a blessing or a curse based on what you've drawn. And I think it's super fascinating because it allows you to, have that to shape the narrative of the game for the GM and the players. But it's also a way for the players to, change their characters. A lot of the blessings add something to your character, or let you change something about your character, or give you a benefit or an ability you can use. And it's all in the hands of the players to decide when to do that and when it matters. When do you feel like your character has experienced something that would cause them to have that moment? And that's really, really neat to me. There are so few games out there that do anything like that. And I think I think for like a full game of this, that would be just absolutely incredible to really have come up.
I think the mixture of those two things, the ship combat and the focus on the tarot cards, make this a really unique experience. And aesthetically, like, just so cool and pleasing. I think it's really going to appeal to lots of different kinds of people. And I'm just really excited. Like they said, this is what we have for this podcast is a pretty stripped down version of it. I'm really excited to see what the end result, like the final draft of the art, and the layout of what this book is going to look like. From what I've seen so far, it's going to look really nice. And I think, and again, I think my word I keep going back to is simple. The combat in this game was so easy to pick up, especially in comparison to other games we've played. It seems like there's really no focus on equipment and spells and things like that. It's really free form. If you can do it, if the dice will let you, you can pull it off, and it moves so quickly. And I think that's going to really. I think that's something that I found really surprising. I didn't really think that was going to be something that I was going to enjoy.
Man, I absolutely agree with the aesthetic. I like the aesthetic of the tarot myself. I think it's really neat and fascinating, the history and culture and different representations of that. One of their stretch goals on the Kickstarter is to do a custom illustrated deck, custom designed tarot deck based on the game. And man, if I had £20,000 to donate just for that, I might. Because man, that would be absolutely incredible.
I absolutely do see that, and like I could see how, for certain people who are really into tarot, who have their own cards, how they could bring that into their own campaigns in a big way. That's such a great opportunity.
Oh, definitely. We didn't end up doing a draw tonight, but like I had my cards ready. I was like, hey, we're gonna do it.
And let's just reiterate, we totally did not do the best parts of this game, so fuck us.
Yeah, no, like there's so much of this game. Well, I think that's worth iterating because the point of the game is that it's the journey, right? The point of the game is the journey, and we can only showcase one tiny little bit of that journey in this. So if anything that you saw here was like at all of interest to you, man, the full game, like go support it, go pick up a copy when it releases. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be super good. Are there any other comments or feedback that we'd like to highlight? I know we've been sort of all over the place with thoughts of just talking about how cool this feels to play. But
yeah, I would say though, like I said, it's one more time. It's simple. It's very stripped down. What I've seen, I think I would love to see more zhuzh, more meat to the races and the class creation and stuff. It seems like there really is this sort of big reliance on the ship role, on what you do in the ship, and that is such a cool and interesting idea. The races I've seen so far seem, they're D&D standard. You got your dwarves, you got your elves, you got your halfling. The riverfolk one is cool. I would love to see what the final write-up of these are. If what is so unique about these different races, what makes them interesting. In this one, I found out that the halfling race was actually really good at combat. That was kind of cool. I'd love to see more of where that goes and what kind of differentiates that section of this game a little more.
Well, just to point out, right, we only have a starter version of this, so everything is summarized. So of course, I'm assuming that in the end product, everything gets a little more fleshed out, for sure. I think really, you all have already highlighted it, but I think again, the art style and direction that this game is taking is really great. Right, the use of the tarot cards is just a really cool aspect of it. Really, the only comment I have is, hey, apologies to the game devs that we didn't play the more interesting parts of this as opposed to just a quick jaunt and murder through town. Like, sorry, but no, the really this game has so many facets and so many interesting things going on that yeah, I'd love it if we could come back to it and give it the full due of what it deserves, right? And really, folks listening, if any of what we've talked about sounds interesting to you, yeah, definitely go visit their Kickstarter, go support it. This is definitely a project that you're going to see come up in the future as people are exploring new games to play.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is going to be a game that I suspect this is going to be one of those games that's like I don't like generally using like a sort of good, bad or like big versus indie dichotomy. But to some extent, I think there is one in the role-playing space. There's a lot of games out there that are just like, this is a big game from a big publisher. Everyone knows about it. It is what it is. And then there are indie games, and like some of them are fantastic and some of them are like, whatever. And I think this is going to be one of those games that like it's coming out as a small independent game. And I think it's going to be one that people will talk about. I think it's doing, like I said earlier, it's like really aiming for like a niche of what it does, the story it tells, the kind of game it's going to be. It's like we've said, it's about the journey. It's about that sense of a very finite story of characters who grow over the course and then their story finishes. And I think if you are, a player or a group who that's what you're interested in exploring, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be an amazing game for that. And the sense that I have, even just from these quick start rules, is that it's really, really geared towards that sort of, foray into the emotional side of what it means to go on an adventure and the storytelling of that. And I think that's going to be really, really, really fantastic. And I could compare it to a number of games that I know I've talked about before on this show and others that I absolutely love, and I think it's going to be right up there with them. That is Upriver, Downriver, or at least a very short look at it. We hope that you all had fun listening to today's adventure. And if you're interested in checking out the game, once again, you can search on Kickstarter for Upriver, Downriver. Find that link in our description. Yeah, I want to give one more shout out to the devs to the developers for giving us the chance to check out this amazing game before it even launches. I hope that, people will go out there and support it. Finally, if you've just stopped by and want to check out more of what we do here on 2 Weeks, One Shot, you can go ahead and follow us on our socials. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search TWOS, that is TWOS Cast. We've got a bunch of one-shots that we play in different systems. We make a lot of dumb jokes, kind of like we did tonight, so hopefully it's pretty funny. I mean, if you liked us tonight, you'll probably like us everywhere else too. Just go ahead and pick an adventure from our first season, give us a listen, and keep an eye out, because Season 2 is coming your way next year. Until then, thank you so much for listening, and have a good one, everybody.
Ooh, I am still a ghost. Bye.
Get the fuck out of here, you ghost. You ghost son of a bitch.
I got blood on my thumbs.
No one cares. You did that. You did that on purpose. You chose to get that blood on your thumbs.
You did a good murder. You know what's weird is my first name for my character was Jabraham, and then I changed it, so this is just serendipitous, really.